wedding is life's greatest festival. It's also one of life's most beautiful moments. Take a look at an Indian wedding with a long history and tradition, and a Cambodian wedding that is extremely fancy. Let's go to a wedding! Indians believed that the Ganges had the power to purify. Even today, many people bathe in the water and pray to be born again. Calcutta is located above the delta of the Ganges. There is a commerce harbor, so you can see traditional and Western aspects there. Indian weddings are known to be fancy. They begin with the sound of a band on the streets. Most Indian weddings are a result of matchmaking. This car, decorated with flowers, is for the groom who goes to the bride's house. The Hindu wedding begins after 9 in the evening and lasts all night. The first person to meet the groom is the mother-in-law. She gives him sweet cookies and holy water and shows him in the house. Indian weddings are famous for large dowries. In the past, the bride paid for everything, but now the groom pays too. The guests eat and have fun for several days. It is a great task preparing all the food for the guests. The kitchen is busy with people preparing for hundreds of guests. The pot for cooking rice is huge. The variety of foods is vast. The food is almost ready. Relatives come from all around the nation. It will be a long time until the wedding begins. A cup of coffee is perfect to sip while waiting. India isn't just famous for its tea, it is also the original production site of coffee. The beans create a deep taste, but why do they keep pouring it in another cup? You have to have enough bubbles to appreciate the true taste of Indian coffee. So, where is the beautiful bride? The 16-year-old bride is trying to relax in the waiting room. She is covered in gold from head to toe. The hera designs on her fingers wish for a happy marriage.
বলার মতো না।
She likely feels very sad as a mother. She cries, thinking of her younger daughter getting married. The bride becomes tense after her relatives wish her well. When the father-in-law feeds her cookies and gives her a bracelet symbolizing that she has become family, the 3-day wedding finally begins. The cheers cause more excitement.
Reciprocally from their side or all my 350. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Beautiful.
কি আর বলবো যেরকম লাগে না যা একটু
Finally, the bride covers her eyes and leaves and walks toward the groom. The groom and bride meet, but the people take the groom's shirt off. They hold it over them, signifying that he should serve as a roof. They hang wreaths over each other. They smell the scent for a long time, which signifies staying in love forever. It is time for their souls to meet. They tie their clothes and pray in front of a holy fire. The two are one now. The groom sprinkles powder on the bride's ring and draws a line on her forehead. This means that she is now this man's woman. The long Hindu wedding of 12 hours is over. The couple have their first night together ahead. Their clothes are tied and they move together. It is a marriage of a 16-year-old bride and 25-year-old groom. The wedding party goes on. The guests are served food. But there aren't any spoons or forks. Even after the wedding, the guests eat and drink for 3 days and 3 nights. So, how good is Indian wedding food?
And the bhitki, which is preparation of the fish, is quite good.
Good food. Good food. Lots of color.
Angkor Wat is one of the 7 world wonders. It is a representative relic of the Khmer Empire. Cambodian weddings are just as fancy. They're mostly held at the bride's house and a small sign is hung. Traditional music is performed all day for an exciting ambience. The busiest place is the beauty salon. The bride is wearing traditional attire and gold decorations. The bridesmaids are busy getting their hair done too. The wedding begins with the groom's family entering the bride's house. They are carrying food they have made, and the groom hangs a wreath on the bride, which means he's proposing. When the bride and groom enter, it is custom to give everyone an envelope for money. The groom's family has to bring 31 types of food, including fruits and appetizers. If they leave anything out, the bride's family can cancel the wedding. The groom's parents offer food to the bride's parents and ask them to accept their son. The bride appears wearing different clothes. She changes clothes 7 times. Everything is paid for by the bride's side. That's why it's hard for poor women to get married. Cambodians like to take pictures. They strike a pose every time they change or perform a ritual. They change again for another order. What do the comb and perfume represent? The family members cut their hair and spray perfume. Cutting hair chases away bad luck, and the perfume stands for sweet luck.
More than 100 years. Marriage is 3 days, 3 days.
Yes, 3 days. During 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days.
Oh, are you sure?
Now let's
Sure,
show. Yeah, let's show.
Yeah.
Very difficult, but very exciting. So exciting, Okay.
Exciting?
Yeah.
The bride has changed again. The groom appears surrounded by pink fans. This means he should only look at his wife. The bride goes through a ritual too. She washes the groom's feet and promises to be submissive. They hold the towel together and walk. This means they are one now. The family gathers and passes around a fragrant candle. This is to wish the two a sweet life. Cambodian wedding has a lot of rituals. Tying their hands with red string means they should always rely on each other. The guests bless them with money and flower petals. During the day, the wedding is centered on the family. At night, it's time for the friends to celebrate. Wedding food is a great pleasure for the guests. Night deepens. The wedding ends with everyone throwing flower petals. May the bride and groom be happy. The most precious moment in life is made more special with a ceremony. The bride and groom are sure to be happy after such a festive wedding. Kimchi is a Korean food, but Nepal has its own pickled treat. What does Nepalese achar taste like? In Turkey, the locals eat a pickled food called turşu. Let's taste various pickled foods around the world. The country of the Himalayas, Nepal. The capital, Kathmandu, is surrounded by 5 peaks. It is a city with Hindu and Buddhist temples. You can easily see stores that sell achar on the streets of Kathmandu. The Nepalese always eat achar. It has various flavors, from spicy to sweet and salty. When did the people here begin eating achar? This place is famous for good achar. Drivers with picky tastes enjoy themselves at this restaurant called Muggling. Drivers stop by to dine at the restaurant. It's quite famous. How do they make it?
भात मन पर्छ भने कहिले ढेरो पनि खान मन लाग्छ कहिले रोटी पनि खान मन लाग्छ सधैँ खाइरहनु जस्तो तपाईलाई के हुन्छ कहिले मासु हुन्छ अब खाइरहनु त के हो नि दाल भात तरकारी फेरि फेरि खान पाए.
Her 2 daughters-in-law learned how to make achar. The first step is to salt radish and then remove the water.
अचार बनाउँदाखेरि नराम्रो देख्छ पानी निस्केर ए हो.
Mulak achar is made with radish and seasoned with jeera powder, spicy chili powder, and sweet fruit extract. You just mix it all together for about 5 minutes for the seasoning to be absorbed well. Then add boiled rapeseed oil and mix it again. Now, here's the secret. They fry really spicy peppers and add them. Let it age for 2 to 3 days, and there you have mulak achar. The second daughter-in-law makes tomato achar. First, she grinds roasted peppers and garlic. They have to add a traditional spice called timur, which they pick in the mountains. If the ingredients are ready, the tomatoes have to be blended. For best taste, they are ground with a stone.
यो अहिले नै खाए मिठो हुन्छ 바로 먹는 게 맛있답니다. 바로 해가지고 먹는 게.
근데 저는 3개월
The mother-in-law comes to see. She tastes what they have made.
아, 미쳐 봐. 아, 미쳐.
Did they pass the mother's strict standards?
미쳐다.
When it comes to pickled foods, Korean kimchi is the best. What do the Nepalese think of Korean kimchi?
छुट्टा-छुट्टै आइटम हो हामी लिएर आउँछ
여기서 말에 코리아 투자 레고 어자 코리안 어자로. 에토티 테스팅 가야 돼.
टेस्ट गर्ने
She had never had Korean kimchi before, but she can't stop eating it. Tell us how it tastes. How is it?
물락 거자.
미쳐다. धेरै मिठो
An achar expert praises the taste of Korean kimchi. Does it suit your tastes?
मिठो छ यो अचार यहाँ राख्ने नेपालमा यहाँको अचार कोरिया लाने हुन्छ
हुन्छ त्यसो भए माई हामी यहाँ मुलाको अचार तपाईँलाई दिन्छ तपाईँको अचार हामीलाई
Achar is a traditional homemade food, but these days many factories mass produce it. They even export it around the world. We headed to the best achar factory around. The facility was cozy and neat, like a home.
अब कोरिया पठाउँदाखेरि झन् पढाउनु पर्छ यसलाई हैन
We received approval to film. This is the first time they have showed anyone how to make achar. So, how's it done? The most popular is mango achar. It tastes best when it's made with unripened mangoes. They salt the mangoes and let them absorb for 3 to 4 days.
यो चाहिँ जहिले अमिलो अचार चाहिन्छ हामीलाई अनि हामी बनाएर बजारमा पठाउँछौँ
Mango achar is pleasantly salty and sweet. Everyone likes it. The salted mango has to be seasoned well. This is the most important part of the process, as it determines the taste.
इन्डियन अचारमा के हुन्छ भने एउटा केमिकल प्रिजर्भेटिभ हाल्छ उनीहरूको मास प्रडक्सन हुन्छ भनेपछि धेरै प्रडक्सन गर्नको लागि उनीहरूले चाहिँ त्यो केमिकल हालेर वर्ष 2 वर्ष 3 वर्ष
The seasonings used are nix masala, jeera powder, and chili powder. The precise amount of each seasoning must be used. Then they pour in rapeseed oil and stir it well. They use this to season the salted mangoes. The achar is complete. You can keep it for long periods of time, like Korean kimchi. If you want to keep it longer, sprinkle some salt before you close the lid. They seal the jar and export it around the world.
पुरा तौल चाहिँ तर भित्रको नेट उ चाहिँ 425 हुन्छ
They are developing new products at the factory. How about developing one that suits Korean tastes? When the cold breeze begins to blow in Turkey, there is one food that most everyone begins to crave. What is this winter delicacy? Vegetables in jars seem to attract attention at the market. It is a pickled Turkish food called tursu. It is very popular, and there are many stores that sell it in the city. The owner mixes spicy and less spicy soup to suit the customer's taste and sells as much as the customer wants. Some people make it at home, but most people buy it like this.
Tamam vereyim mi? Hoş geldin.
Bir bardak.
Bir bardak suyu.
Bir sefer. Ama bu taraftan geçtikçe uğruyoruz.
Ha.
Faydalıdır yani.
Tursu is as old as Korean kimchi. There are 40 to 50 types. The ingredients vary from cucumbers to peppers, sugar beets, beans, bell peppers, pomegranates, grapes, and even watermelon. Tursu is a healthy food and is loved for its variety.
Damak tadımız bize özgü bir şey bu. Alışmışız zamanında. Osmanlı'dan kalma bir şeydir bu yani. Çok eskidir tarihçesi bunun. Kolay kolay bunu yediğiniz zaman, turşunu falan içtiğiniz zaman gribe falan yakalanmazsınız. Antibiyotik gibidir yani.
Let's see how they make tursu at home. At Endel's house, everyone waits for the tursu to be complete. The family members in the kitchen are busy. First, they wash peppers and put them in a jar. They add garlic for scent, but they have to wait 5 days. The children wait and wait.
Ablacığım turşu suyunuz var mı?
Daha olmadı.
Oldu. Ya oldu ya.
Yok mu?
Yokmuş.
Hatunlar biraz çabuk olun. Çocuklar turşu suyu istiyor.
Evet. Çok güzel oluyor. Evet.
Endel rushes his wife. The tursu is made as everyone waits. The last step is pouring salt water in the jar. You just have to wait for it to age to achieve the perfect taste.
Turşu yapıyoruz. Soframızdan hiç eksik olmuyor. Kışa hazırlık olarak yapıyoruz bunları. Ayrıyeten bunun suyunu da içiyoruz. Herkese tavsiye ediyoruz. Bizim turşumuz çok güzel.
They can't wait 5 days. They have the soup in 3.
Sevinin işte.
Teşekkürler.
Eten bile turşu yedi. Şöyle görsün mü?
Nefis.
Değil mi? Evet. Devam et.
Harika.
It looks different, but the Turkish have a pickled food called tursu that is similar to Korean watery kimchi. The Nepalese have a pickled food called achar. Two countries with food cultures similar to Korea. Don't you feel closer to them already? Among the world's passionate countries, Brazil is definitely #1. Following them are the descendants of Mexican Indians in South America. Who comes in third? The home of flamenco dance, Spain. There is a rule to having fun. This country is the king of carnivals in many aspects. The beautiful Copacabana beach attracts people with its clear blue water. All the beautiful women seem to have flocked here. Soccer is best for cooling off. So is dancing. Everybody has a great time. The long-awaited Rio Carnival finally begins. It has the reputation of being the world's greatest carnival. The festivities are a great way to vent about desires and pain. The carnival also gives people the strength to go on. People always dance in Brazil. Dancing to the exciting samba beat. Dance is a universal language. People shake to the fancy steps. They say Brazilians enjoyed this beat even before they were born. They dance like pros and have fun. everyone steps and turns. They can't imagine a life without dancing. Now, let's meet some Indios who live by the Amazon. They dance away. They turn their arms, waists, and legs. It's the samba. The woman dressed like a chief's daughter is also busy doing the steps. It might be more than 40 degrees, but they have to dance. People of all ages dance and enjoy the beat. Oh, don't overdo it. An old man suddenly appears and makes everyone happy. Dancing has always been a part of life here. It represented fecundity and was a way to worship gods. Africans crossed the Atlantic and first landed at Salvador. They held the Bahia Carnival, yearning for home. The Afro-Brazilian culture reflects African culture. Let's look at the dances that possess their joys and sorrows. Brazil is a melting pot of people and cultures. Africans make up 6% of the population. They suffered many difficulties in the past.
Manifestação dos grupos culturais de São Francisco do Conde. Essa é a semana de São Francisco do Conde no Pelourinho, onde estão sendo apresentados os diversos grupos culturais da cidade.
You can experience the dynamic and diverse African culture at the Bahia Festival. The famous samba rhythm originated here.
Na verdade, foi feita uma manifestação por parte dos coordenadores do grupo, tipo uma ONG, onde na cidade nós temos mais de 34 grupos.
Let's head to another country, Mexico. Tenochtitlan was a city of the Aztecs. The city on the lake reenacts the glories of the past. Half of the population consists of Mexican Indios. The past, present, and future coexist at Zocalo Square. It is always full of energy. What is today's event? This Aztec shaman tells fortunes very well. Being the most popular shaman, guests continue to line up for him. He would have been worshipped long ago, but now he is a source of entertainment for visitors.
O sea que es un diagnóstico espiritual, se une, se pega el cuerpo, el alma y el espíritu. O sea que es medicinal. Es medicinal. Se armoniza, se equilibra, se purifica, se sacriliza, se ofrenda. O sea, es prehispánico.
Someone once said Mexican Indios are descendants of Koreans. They have similar rituals involving incense and fruits. The conchero dance is an Aztec warrior's ritual. Aztec warriors wished for victory before going to battle. The heroism is gone, but their powerful movements still capture people's attention. Mexican Indios developed the Maya, Aztec, and Zapotec civilizations 5,000 years ago. They were good-hearted enough to smile at their conquerors. Their history has taken their smiles, but not their pride. The Mexican Indios built a mysterious civilization. They still dream of the glories of worshiping the sun god and praising corn.
La danza azteca volvió a entrar al Zócalo capitalino después de 1521, más o menos en los años de 1980, cuando la danza azteca vuelve a entrar al Zócalo capitalino.
Conquerors and those who are conquered. Let's explore Spain. The country is immediately synonymous with flamenco dance. It blossomed around Andalusia. The singing, dancing, and guitar playing have to be in sync. The passionate hand movements and the rhythmical foot movements are exciting. Everyone is captivated by the passionate dance. They yell, "Ole!" which means good. Things get better with age here. A dancer of 30 years appears on stage. The flamenco possesses the passion and grudges of gypsies. That's why you can't dance it properly unless you have gypsy blood running through you. The joys, sorrows, pains, and loves of life are communicated through the dance. The dancer expresses herself boldly. It is even more passionate because the moves are just right. Now it's time to learn the flamenco. He was dragged out. But his feet are moving. The second student is better. Nothing could be better to watch. Everyone is charmed by the dance. Let's do the flamenco. You're not expected to do well right away, so just try.
음악도 너무 좋고요. 노래도 좋고 춤도 너무 멋있고 다 좋았어요.
Precioso, muy bonito.
Sí, ¿lo recomienda?
Sí, para que vengan todas las personas. Es maravilloso.
¿Y la paella?
Exquisita, muy rica.
Cool at times and passionate during others. Dancing is a human instinct. The rhythms, moves, and clothes might be different, but the pleasure is the same. Follow your instincts and the world will appear as one. Hokkaido is the northernmost island in Japan. The Ainus lived here for 7,000 years. Their main food is salmon. The Maoris have a unique dance and eat hangi food. Let's meet people who live intimately with nature.
Very good. Carpine.
Hokkaido was abandoned land 100 years ago, but there are people who have lived there for a long time. Agriculture was prominent on the mainland, but because of Hokkaido's barren environment, life here revolves around hunting. People with dark skin, curly eyebrows, round eyes, and hairy skin, they are the Ainu. Ainus with pure blood are disappearing on the mainland. But the Ainus of Hokkaido have developed their own culture. The story is a sad one. The Ainus lost their home after 3 battles. That was only 130 years ago. They lived amid nature for a long time. The sound of the wind, water, and birds are all made by this pipe. They worshipped nature, which is considered a god.
そのフクロウが土産を持ってっていうか、まあ毛皮であるとか肉とかっていうよりは、その夜暗い時に活動しますよね。そういったものがその私たちが寝ている間に村を守ってくれているという考え方を持っていますので、そういった役割があるんですね。
That is why the Ainus don't play with life or have excessive greed. Order was a promise in community life. Valuing life was the first promise in hunting. Salmon was considered a gift of God, and people only caught them after breeding season. Salmon was a precious resource for the Ainus.
This is 背びれなんですけれども、背びれを靴の底にして滑り止めの役割をしてました。でこれ履くときにはですね、一回水に戻して柔らかくしてから履いた。でこの時期、冬場の雪がある時期に履くようにして、鱗が滑り止めになったり、背びれが滑り止めになったり。
They eat the meat and use the skin. That is why they settled near the river. They chose to preserve food to survive in this barren environment. What they hunted was usually preserved through smoking. After being bred, salmon has less fat, so it is good for preserving.
今はもうこれが完成状態なんですけれども、ここになるまでには、秋9月10月11月に取れた鮭をですね、鮭が溶けて、また朝と晩の寒さで凍って溶けて凍って溶けての繰り返しで、鮭の水分がなくなるんですよ。
The salmon was protected and cultivated. Hokkaido became the home of salmon.
こういうふうにちゃんと袋に入れてね。でこれ使いました。
It's nice to see salmon. I'm hungry. I'd like a bite right now. Salmon has parasites, so you have to be careful when eating it raw. That's why it should be frozen or smoked. The Ainus gained such wisdom and they salted and smoked salmon to preserve it for long periods.
こういうのは魚だけこういう焼き方をね。肉は全部塩で茹でてしまう。鍋でね。それから今度は煙をかけて保存用の魚を作っとくとかね。
They eat sashimi and make soup. They enjoy various ways of eating salmon. One of their 2 dishes is salmon skewers. All they have to do is cut the salmon and put the pieces on a skewer. What is that white flour?
いや必ずつけるものなんですよ。イナウルといって五兵ですね、今で言う。五兵って言ってもわかんないな。必ず火の神様のそばにはこの。
The family sits around with their guardian deity. They talk and have ohao soup. Affection and warmth fill the air. The delicacy is salmon skewers. They roast the salmon and it cooks well. It has a savory taste that is very delicious. You can just tell how good it is by watching them eat it. Salmon is a requisite for serving guests, and they very much enjoy the ohao. It's time to give some to the guests. They serve a side dish of rice along with the salmon skewers. This is the best way of being hospitable. They even serve wormwood rice cakes. Precious salmon roe with an excellent scent. It's a royal feast. How does it suit Korean tastes? The soup suits Korean taste buds.
そうですね。まあ4ヶ月じゃなく1年間でだいたい200本ぐらいの鮭を取って一家族ですね。だいたい4人から5人の家族で。実際その前の昔はアイヌは自分たちの食べる分だけを取って生活していたんです。
New Zealand was a paradise for animals and plants. People first landed there about 1,000 years ago. There are few natives left. The Maoris make up about 8% of the population. Their unique culture gave birth to the Hangi concert.
Which is being beaten on the back and palm of the
Caucasians immigrated less than 200 years ago. The only traditional culture in New Zealand comes from the Maoris. This threat-resembling dance is a traditional dance called haka. It was done before going to battle. Rotorua of the North Island is the center of Maori culture. It is a volcanic area where you can see lots of sulfur. Because people here live in a hot lava area, they use hot spring water to cook. This young man will show us something with frozen corn.
We use it for cooking vegetables, sweet corn, green vegetables, leafy vegetables. The temperature of the pool is between 95 and 100.
What will he show us now?
Inside here, one of the local people are actually cooking their lunch. They're cooking a cut of meat inside here.
He opens the wooden lid to reveal ribs inside. It's a natural volcanic oven? They don't need stoves or microwave ovens. It doesn't cost money, and the food tastes great. It's all about taking care of two birds with one stone.
So for 15 minutes out of the time, we're going to pull this out, and because they only take such a short time, we just pop them in for about 10-15 minutes and they'll be cooked.
There are wooden boxes everywhere. They are all natural ovens. Oh, what happened to the corn? The smell of sulfur is awful, but the corn was dipped in that water. Won't it taste strange? You go ahead.
Very good. Kapai. Okay.
After eating the corn, he prepares for lunch. What is it going to be? He puts things in the box and the food is ready. However, vegetables should be put in 2 to 3 hours after the meat for a nice taste. The chicken seems to have cooked well, and so did the pumpkin and sweet potatoes. That's all you have to do to prepare Hangi food. Slice the beef, which was cooked for 5 hours. There are chicken, fish, and vegetables. This is traditional Hangi food. The cuisines show how wisely people here used nature. For the natives, threatening volcanoes are like their friends. 2 elderly men came from afar to taste this nutritional traditional food.
I'm not sure how the chicken was prepared, but the silverside was similar to the way you'd expect it. But this has been done in the natural setting. I must say the corn was very nice.
Mm-hmm. At home we would simply boil it in water, but no, this is very tasty.
If you try to conquer, you will be punished. If you adapt, you will be blessed. Such is the philosophy of nature. The natives have chosen a slow but harmonious life with nature. Their lives are one with the elements, and they know the true joy of life. If you are an exhausted urbanite, return to nature. It'll be like a paradise of milk and honey.